Brodes Media.
I'll focus on the fact that Maxey's legit. And I don't know if I even finished my point that I was talking about a little bit earlier here. I'm on a roll. I'm on a rhythm. I'm like Tyrese Maxey in the third quarter and bang, hitting big shots. And I'm like Niang, bang, getting the crowd going at the Wells Fargo Center. But is Tyrese Maxey even better than we anticipated? Look, at the time of the draft, there were a lot of people involved saying, they're good. They're good. This kid is good. The Sixers are good. They're in a great position with this young player from Kentucky, and they probably benefited from the fact that there was no March Madness tournament that year due to COVID protocol, so he slid. If he had a time to be on the big stage and to be on CBS and to have those March Madness ties to him, would he have slipped into the 20s? Probably not. And don't forget, you needed a Mike Muscala 3, too. Oh, how laughable. But I wonder, even though we knew he was going to be a good player, we were very intrigued by him. Is it possible that he's actually like a real star? Like a star. Like when you acquire a James Harden, he changes your franchise. Why? Because he's a star. We feel as great as we do about a potential run. Why? Because of Joel Embiid. Now, I'm not telling you he is. I'm just asking the question because it's obvious that the kid is wired differently and he just improves like no other. The kid had, 9 free throw attempts today? 9 free throws. 9. He averaged one free throw a game last year. Now he's hitting threes. He's hitting step backs. He's a killer. He's an actual killer. Where if I need a bucket, I'm going through Maxey. Obviously Harden, but I'm just saying the fact that you have a secondary option who could do it at this level, at this rate, at this efficiency, what are we talking about here? 5 apples too. So 5 threes made, 5 assists, 5 apples as I like to call them, and 33 buckets. His speed is miraculous. Now, defensively, no doubt about it, he was getting shredded at times, and it is tough to witness. But you just figured, okay, the Cavs weren't going to keep up that forever. The Sixers would eventually bring their defense. We saw this against the Knicks the other night at the Wells Fargo Center. You're booing and you hate it. Joel Embiid didn't look as dialed in when it comes to the defensive side. And then what do you know? There was a different level of a kick in the ass at halftime, and the team just came out flying. Now, I don't love the fact that it's a slow start and they seem unprepared or unwilling to compete, maybe is the right way to say it. It seems like the other team is clearly doubling their energy in the last couple of games here. Maybe they feel they can roll the ball out and just beat whoever. Or maybe there's a correlation between them just becoming a squad and having to learn how one another likes to perform and where their certain sets are on the floor. I mean, look, let's be realistic. How many times did we witness a random possession throughout the game that resulted in 3 good looks, but they just kept passing it around? And I saw a sequence where Tobias Harris was getting yelled at by Doc Rivers on the bench, and he did have some shots here and there periodically throughout the game that I thought mattered and did make some sort of noise, but at the same time, he didn't drill any threes, and that's what he's going to have to do a lot more with the way that this team is being spaced out. It's just that simple. Niang's hitting them, Maxey's hitting them. That's what Tobias Harris is going to have to blossom into. Someone you could rely at a 37% clip, whether it's 2 threes, 3 threes. I don't know how many 3-pointers it's going to be a night, and I'm just talking about attempts more so than actually made. 4, 5. I would like it to be about that. I mean, that means the attention is being drawn to your big 3. I love saying that, but that's what we have here. And then Tobias Harris wide open from the corner. That's what it's going to have to be, and he needs to drill those for sure. I do see some donations coming in the chat. I want to thank you guys. Of course, I'm just kind of getting through my initial thoughts here on the game. And by the way, if you're new to the channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button as well. I greatly appreciate it. Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes, by the way. I think I just got fired off out of a cannon like Maxey and just kept going on a roll. So I don't even know if I properly opened the show. I was just that stoked and that pumped up with what I saw. I'm sitting there laying on the floor which is stupid by me because I have a nice couch, a nice leather couch. I got a nice fireplace. I can hit my feet button and my feet fly up and I can kick back and lay back. But instead, I'm laying on the floor playing with my puppy, going crazy, smacking on the floor, right? When Tyrese Maxey hits a three, I'm like, you got to be kidding me, Zola. She's going crazy. She's starting to jump backwards, when their ass goes in the air and they start barking, going, that's what she's doing to me. Well, I'm sitting here smacking the ground because I'm pumped up that Maxey's balling the way that he is. And I just feel like we think he's good now. He has zero experience. Seriously, though, this kid doesn't even know yet. He doesn't even know yet what he's capable of doing and what he's going to be able to be all about. I'm dead ass serious. And I say that with all due respect. I say that with he thinks he knows. Just wait, because the project already of Tyrese Maxey, the fact that we're here and this is serious, this isn't a fluke, this isn't a joke. Right? When Furkan has nights where he scores 28, what do? He sucks. He's bad. He's not good because it doesn't translate. It's just not real. It's fake. It's a mirage. Tyrese Maxey is the complete difference, and he's a serious threat. That is a no-brainer, and he's got so much more to his game that's not even untapped yet. It's not even unlocked. This is just the beginning. So very, very too early in the career of Tyrese Maxey. I raised the question at 10 o'clock p.m. on the dot, March 4th, 2022. How serious are we talking here? Is this a future Harden, Embiid, Kawhi Leonard, like that level of star? Why not? Why not at this point? This kid's a dog. He really is. And it's funny, the other day I see Markelle Fultz, all sorts of videos on Twitter, and I wish him the best. Now, I have no hatred for that face like I once did. Now I just feel sorry for everything that he had to go through physically with the injury last year, and just hoping that can have a nice little resurgence, if you will. Think about the turn of events, and I'm sure we hear this all the time as Sixers fans, right? Go back to the Brian Colangelo and the Sam Hinkie. They can make a documentary, and I know that's why it's so loud, I guess, that is always being talked about, because it would be a mind-blowing experience to sit through the journey that was the Philadelphia 76ers to get here. But this is everything you could have imagined Markelle Fultz being, and if not even more, right? I mean, I had high ceilings for Markelle Fultz because of what we saw at Washington, and he did have a game there. He was actually someone who can play basketball there, and he was an efficient guard that could put the ball in his hands. But what am I doing here talking about? I can't even think of his name, and I keep stuttering when I try and think about it. I want to say Furkan Korkmaz, Markelle Fultz. What am I doing? Am I sick? Am I sick in the head? Am I a sick bastard to be analyzing this game and Markelle Fultz is brought up? This dude in Tyrese Maxey is 5 billion times the player he will ever be. And that's the moral of the story. There's so many layers to his game that I can't wait to just continue to improve nonstop. So basically, I wrote out a list of how pathetic it was early on. Okay, Harden and Embiid through the first 5 minutes. Okay, we witnessed one shot from them. So it was sloppy. Their offense had zero, and they couldn't operate at all. It was kind of brutal. They allowed 43 points in the first quarter, passing up wide open looks. Defense was awful. Harden foul trouble early in the second quarter. He picked up his third, but he also got that abysmal call called against him when he was at the 3-point line and he kicked his leg, and then they called that an offensive foul on him. So he was in some foul trouble. Thibault contributing 0 points offensively as a starter, and at some point that really costed you. They battle through it. They win basketball games. That's what they do. And I know that there was a portion of Sixers fans and outside fans and national media attention that were rooting for the Sixers to fall. But now they win. And the Brooklyn Nets that everyone still foams out the mouth about, right? They just drool nonstop. You ever get one of those dogs that just drool all over the place and you look at your pant leg afterwards and it's drenched and it's soaked? There's people that do that for the Brooklyn Nets still, while you have no idea what they're going to be. And then how about that Seth Curry crowd when he first went to Brooklyn and Kevin Durant wasn't there and Kyrie Irving wasn't there? Oh, he's got 20 points. Yeah, he did that here. You can look through a bunch of game logs and see plenty of times when that happened. The difference, though, is He had an 8-point night the other night and didn't shoot very well at all. How come you're not keeping up with that anymore? Oh, that's right, because there was an overreaction to thinking Seth Curry and Andre Drummond and a handful of draft picks and being protected too, may I add, was apparently too much for James Harden. You mean the guy today gave you 11 assists, dished out 11 dimes? The guy who went to the charity stripe 12 times? The guy who had big 4-point play, getting fouled, step back anyway? He just delivers a calming presence when you most need it. One team had a veteran guard, very savvy, understanding. The other team, super young guard, Garland. And I like Garland. Kid's a baller. He's going to be super fun and entertaining for years to come. But when you need it most, who's getting you good looks? Who's drawing attention from the other team's defense and then opening up lanes for wide open shooters? Whether they took the shots or not, that's a totally different discussion. And there were plenty of times where that wasn't it and that wasn't clean. And they kept passing around and passing around. What are we doing? Shoot it. Let it fly. Why is there any sort of hesitation? There's not a defender even 5 feet from you. But the most important part was this team, they rallied together, and whenever they're down 20, if they're down 16, I'm not happy that they're in that position to begin with. But let's be clear. They're not fazed by it, and they just end up cracking in the lead. We all watched the lead get smaller and smaller and smaller. Did we not? It went to single digits. Tyrese Maxey's making plays all over the damn court. It's a single-digit lead now. What did we all think? We've seen this a billion times. We've seen this play nonstop. Sixers will be fine. They'll get Embiid late, couple buckets. What do you know? Embiid late, a couple buckets. James Harden with his poise. What do you know? James Harden with his poise. Tyrese Maxey. What do you know? Tyrese Maxey. Who's the third of the big three? I love watching the reactions of the players. I love watching James Harden and Embiid embrace what Tyrese Maxey's doing. You could tell that they have pretty much brainwashed him, in a good way, I'm saying, brainwashed him into this mentality of screw you. Seriously, when he has the ball in his hands, he thinks nothing other than screw everybody else. This is my time. I got this. Watch this. He just steps back in rhythm. Isn't it incredible? Where did this come from? Even the biggest Tyrese Maxey supporters on planet Earth wouldn't have never imagined in a billion years he'd be closing out games to this level. The Sixers would be down double digits, and solely because of his energy, now they're back involved. And that George Niang 3, there was the one after the block, too, bringing it defensively. And that's what this team has talked about, specifically Joel Embiid. I pace myself, he says. I've learned about an 82-game regular season before. You got to pace yourself. Now, sometimes they do it a little bit too much for my liking, but when they turn that switch on, you see a totally different style on both sides of the floor, because I know we're worried about the defense, and there are times where it's going to be ugly, and it makes you want to throw up. But when they decide it's time, what are they doing? I'll tell you what they're doing. They're doing damage. And that's super, super incredible.